What do Jews believe about the afterlife?
Newsflash, do Jews believe in heaven?
Do Orthodox Jews believe in heaven and hell?
There seems to be a bit of an obsession around the Jewish view on the existence of the afterlife. Heaven or hell, the question of what awaits us when we die remains a bit of a mystery, even amongst Jews. Like in this 1990s Woody Allen film.
Let him go to heaven, please.
I'm a Jew, we don't believe in heaven.
Where do you want to go?
To a Chinese restaurant.
Or in this well-known Jewish conversion scene in Orange is the New Black.
And here y'all saying ain't no hell. Ain't sure about heaven.
Well, what if I told you that the reason why we're so confused about the Jewish definition of heaven and hell is because it breaks every stereotype we have about the afterlife? Forget about winged angels and red devils. This new understanding is far more intuitive and integrated than anything I've ever heard. Here's the Mensch Sense take. I think most of us are stuck at a grade school level comprehension of the afterlife. It's what I like to call arcade game morality. If you've ever gone with your friends to the arcade, you play a few games and win some tickets. At the end, you trade in those tickets for prizes. We tend to see this world as one big point system as well. And if you get enough points, you can trade it in for that ultimate prize in the sky.
When your time on Earth has ended, we calculate the total value of your life using our perfectly accurate measuring system. Only the people with the very highest scores, the true cream of the crop, get to come here, to the good place.
There are a lot of problems with this approach. First, by ascribing points to our deeds, it denies the fact that different people face different challenges. Someone who grew up amongst violent gang members will have a much more difficult time treating other people kindly than someone who grew up in a loving, stable home. But more importantly, it makes our actions down here kind of trivial. Just as the skill of winning an arcade game has nothing to do with the actual prize, it seems as if our good deeds in this world have nothing to do with the reward of the afterlife. Is morality just a game to be played, or is there something more intrinsic about the good deeds that we do? In response to this, the Talmud makes a really bold statement. It says, the reward for any good deed is the good deed itself. And the punishment for an evil deed is the evil deed. In other words, there's no stuffed teddy bear at the end of the game. The prize is the very consequence, good or bad, that was created as a result of the deed. If we create more harmony and positivity in the world, the afterlife gives us the chance to feel the full force of that beautiful action. Imagine experiencing the joy of all the people whose lives you affected, including the butterfly effect that action creates throughout eternity.
Can I ask, is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? If so, could you stand up, please?
There's another consequence, though. When we consistently choose moral behavior, we change ourselves into the kinds of people who appreciate morality. And this is where the Jewish concept of the afterlife takes on a whole new dimension. A parable is told of a pious man who was granted the ability to see heaven and hell. As he descends to hell, he sees an endless banquet table filled with every delicacy imaginable. Guests sit at either side of the table, but instead of hands, they all have 4-foot-long forks attached to their arms. This makes it impossible for them to get the food into their mouths. Now, the pious man ascends to heaven. To his surprise, it is exactly the same setup. The banquet table, the delicious food, and even the same forks for hands. Only this time, the guests pick up the food and feed the people on the other side of the table. According to the Jewish tradition, heaven and hell are the same place. The only difference is whether you've transformed yourself into the type of person who would enjoy it. Heaven is a place of selflessness and opportunities for incredible connection. Anyone who is selfish or evil will find it to be the most intolerable place ever. Funnily enough, this episode of South Park is the closest I've ever seen it portrayed in popular culture, where Saddam Hussein is punished by being forced to spend eternity in heaven with Mormons.
Hello and welcome. We're glad you made it, brother. Who the hell are you?
We're just about to do a play about how much stealing hurts you deep inside. Come join us.
Yes,
Come
let's
on.
go.
You're here forever.
The afterlife does not have to be some elaborate costume party. It also doesn't have to involve any forced concept of reward or punishment. Who we make ourselves into in this world determines whether we can appreciate a world stripped of any illusions, of any finite pleasures or ego trips. The afterlife is a world of truth. If we live by that truth, it can be the most beautiful place imaginable. But if we don't, then, well, sometimes the truth hurts. And that makes mensch sense.